Hi everybody, this is the Comic Book Guy, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hud, and this is another Homeless Report starring the weirdest comic book creator and YouTuber and generally strange individual known as your boy Zack, also known as Richard C. Meyer.
Ooh, ain't got no home, no place to roam. Ain't got no home, no place to roam. I'm a lonely boy, I ain't got a home, but I got a voice, and I love to sing. I sing like a girl, and I sing like a frog. I'm a lonely boy, I ain't got a home. Ooh.
And yes, here we are back again, starring Richard C. Meyer, the new, screw the beginning. Hold on a second. Now, welcome back to the Comic Book Guy. Of course, this is the Homeless Report starring and, featuring Richard C. Meyer, known as your boy Zack, known as Weirdo Richardo, also known as your boy Moron. Now, he is a guy that's been going after all the YouTubers, all the big ones, like Critical Drinker, Neurotic, and a few others, and we're going to get into that. Some of these YouTubers I'm not big fans of. If you are, that's great, okay? But what's interesting is that his big gripe about the Critical Drinker is that he's 6 days late on a review. Oh, really? Hey, Weirdo Richardo, you are late on a book 2 years. Let me say it again. 2 years. 2 years versus 6 days. 2 years versus 2 days. Now, if you don't know what's going on here, Richard C. Meyer is a dumbcuff. He's one of these people that thinks he's like, I don't know what the hell he thinks he is. Again, like I said in other videos, he has fooled everybody for many years thinking that he's like down-to-earth kind of guy. Talking about breakfast burritos. Who eats a breakfast burrito? Disgusting. That's not something you eat for breakfast. Ugh. Gross. But anyway. Now, like I said, he has this book called Jawbreakers Forever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever. And that's 2 years late. Now, he hadn't posted an update until a couple of days ago, because the YouTubers like Neurotic and that Critical Drunk and all the other YouTubers, Eric July, have all sort of complained about Richard's books being late. His books have been late for 6 years. But just because Eric July said that's a bad thing, they all fell in line. And I would say this again. I've been complaining about late books for years. And here we are again. I was ahead of the curve long before anybody else was. These hypocrites cannot come out and complain about the books being late when they were silent for years. They go wherever the wind blows them. And that's the problem with some of these people. Now let me read you this new update from Jawbreakers Forever and Ever and Ever and Ever. I wonder if some backers have died. Because, this book came out around COVID. I wonder if some of those people got the shot and aren't here anymore. That's a possibility. God help us. But let me read you the new update. This is from a few days ago. Now, I came across this because I saw it on my phone, then I got this on the computer, then I saw something else, which I couldn't believe. Whenever you think that you've seen it all from Weirdo Richardo, he adds more embarrassment to himself. This is from September 25th. Wave 1 fulfillment. Wave 2 invoice paid. Hi, everybody. It took the fulfillment center a while to process 7 different backers lists, spreadsheets. 6 for soft covers and 1 for hard covers, but wave 1 of fulfillment has begun. He's been saying this for years. Domestic shipments went out today, and international shipments will go out tomorrow. I also just Pay the invoice for Wave 2. I am fulfilling Jawbreakers forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Oh, and First Kill. First Kill? I have a question. Isn't that the Rambo book? Didn't that get started like 4 years ago? Wasn't that funny started with that 4 years ago? Isn't that Sylvester Stallone book? Sylvester Stallone? Yes, Sylvester Stallone. And First Kill together, and there are almost 15,000 SKUs, stock keeping units, between the two campaigns, which could cause a lot of confusion. The only one confused here is you, Rita Ricciardo. If we tried to fulfill everything at once, so I broke fulfillment into waves of 1,000 backers to mitigate risk. Risk. You talk about risk. This book began funding 3 years ago. Supposed to come out 2 years ago. Now here's the crazy thing. He has another book called Jawbreakers Contingency, which is the next book, which is the sequel to Jawbreakers Forever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever. That book was supposed to come out in April, and it is now September. He has not posted an update since July. People on that campaign are asking, when's the book coming out? And that book did not do well. It's got $62,000. He only made $62,000. I'm going to show you something. Hold on a second. On that book, which was supposed to go out in April, made $62,000. Jawbreakers Forever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever was supposed to come out 2 years ago, made $124,000. So he made exactly half of this book. The sequel made half. So Richard is a disaster. And not only is he bleeding customers, but as you know, he's bleeding subscribers on his YouTube channel. Since the last time I spoke with you about his weirdness, it's called highness, your weirdness, he has lost over 100 subscribers in like 2 days. How do you do that? He has lost 7,000 subscribers. His height was 104,000 subscribers. He's now at 96.7 or 96.6, 96,600 subscribers. He has collapsed, and he's losing customers, and he's still working with the printers. He's still dealing with the fulfillment center. I mean, what's the problem here? What's the issue? Stop talking about burritos and all this sort of, you know what it is? You listen to his rambling. That's probably the problem. And he doesn't understand that that's a problem. But it is a problem. Don't we know that? Yes, we do. Now I'm going to read you some of his posts. And some of the people in the posts are very interesting. That is some people that need a little payback from myself. Again, now we are here back at Comics Matter with your boy Moron on his YouTube channel's community page. And he puts out the most passive-aggressive posts you can imagine. And some people in here, it was very interesting to see who wrote to him and who he's writing about and who he's complaining about. There are bread tubers who spend every single day for years calling the birthday party clowns racist and trying to get them deplatformed. The BPCs don't even acknowledge that they exist. But I say that the BPCs wait a week to see what they are allowed to say and then coordinate their reviews, and that was met with instant and volcanic anger. Now this is another post. Zack, you fouled their hustle. This was coming. They like politics but are too stupid to talk about it, so they talk about geek stuff. Everything is woke, I guess. Now, here is something interesting. Some of the comments in here. This is from You see, Purgatory Roy, I guess Roy. That's pretty simple. They're so accustomed to being called racist, sexist, etc., that it means literally nothing to them. Suggesting that they're phony and that their opinions are not their own is the ultimate insult, because authenticity is how they stood out from the media. It's the only thing they value. Your mileage may vary as to how you view various YouTubers, but many of them have struck a chord with once enthusiastic fan bases who now rather laugh at. Blah, blah, blah. This is from Jeremy Watson. You've been railing at them for 2 months before they responded. Has he been doing it for that long? My goodness. But then again, your host was a little guilty of complaining about things for years. And it was just stupid of me. And I'd rectify that. Now, Richard's a different story. Because Richard has no excuses for being late. He has no issues at home that are going to keep him from being late. Zero now. But this is interesting. This is from Just Some Guy. Just Some Guy. The YouTuber who I nicknamed Just Some White Guy because nobody's ever seen him. He has told people that he's, I guess, half black or half whatever. I made fun of him so bad about 4 years ago, that this guy completely embarrassed himself, and he posted his DNA results on Twitter. And that was probably the second funniest thing that ever happened on the second comic book hut. The first thing, of course, was my interaction with Jesse Milestone of my girl. I rule the day, our paths crossed. But Just Some White Guy, he posted his DNA test and let people know what he was and wasn't. Who the hell? Nobody knows. Nobody's ever seen him. This is what he had to say. They probably don't know about the bread tubers. They wouldn't come across these vids unless they looked up or watched something similar. They do know and probably follow you, and their followers follow you and will tell them about what you said. That sounds like some high school drama bull. That's because it is. Just Some White Guy fooled so many people for many years that he was, now he only cares about the Lord of the Rings. It's all he cares about. That's all he cares about. He's probably a short guy, short little fat white guy. It's probably what he is. But anyway, he's a guy that basically grifted everybody, and then when it came to all this stuff about children, he sort of milly-mouthed his way through it. He kind of showed his skirt, kind of let people know what he was really about, I guess, if I recall correctly. But he's a very strange individual, and he is not funny, and he's not. I don't know how he has two. And the weird thing is, I was looking at his channel. He's been doing this a long time. He only has 200,000 subscribers. He should have a lot more than that. But when you isolate yourself and you do one video a week, and you're not on camera, and you're not, out there mingling with the other YouTubers, except for this little cocoon that he wants to be in, I guess he's not going to grow. I understand that the loserette's gone. This is how long I've been gone. That Nerdette's newsstand, that newsstand's now, well, there's no newsstands out there anyway. That newsstand's now been deserted. Oh, well. And I guess his little partner, they basically kaput. But anyway, this video's not about me. This is about entertaining you folks. But the thing is that Richard attacking these people, attacking YouTubers that, I guess, have bigger channels, that's not a problem. You attack a big channel, no biggie. But what's interesting is that, is from my perspective, is that he's been late for years. It wasn't up until about a year ago when Eric July started complaining about books being on time. All right. And Eric July, I was talking about books being late since 2018. From 2018 to 2022, I did nothing but complain about books being on time. So you're talking about basically 5 calendar years. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. And during that time, as you know, there was a lot of downtime where people weren't working, they weren't going to work, the government was forcing them to stay home. So there was a lot of time there where people could get the work done and get it out to the people just in a production standpoint. Okay? So for 5 calendar years, Eric July, Nerdrotic, The Critical Drinker, that Az Peach Fuzzed Head, a weirdo, Az, what the fuck his name is, Heel versus That Face, that's right, that's what I call him, Heel versus That Face. All these guys said nothing. And me, this little old YouTuber from Queens, New York, taking on the big bad creators, and they said nothing. Eric July said nothing. He didn't want to rock anybody's boat. His Hale versus that face. I thought it was funny. The funniest thing I remember from years ago was when Alex Jones saw him in a live stream and laughed at him. Just to look at him. When he looked at him, that was the funniest thing. But these YouTubers go where the wind blows them. They really do. Now, your host is hoping to one day to get to 100,000 subscribers on the Baseball Hut. You need to go check it out and subscribe. I don't get there. And here's the thing about the sports side. It's different from the comic book side and the entertainment side. I could probably quit my job at 25,000 subscribers or 50,000. Okay? I don't have to get to 100,000 or 1,000,000 because the money is so much better doing a video about the New York Mets and about baseball in general than about entertainment and talking about these untalented, unfunny YouTubers. Which is what Richard is too, by the way. And the thing is your host is a funny guy, but when I see these people have no talent, they have no talent. They have no talent. They have no real general interest other than to what the audience is telling them, what the algorithm is telling them. It bothers the hell out of me. So I've been doing this a long time now, and I see all these other channels doing so well, and it's like it's such a manipulation of the system. And to see this insanity go on, and then you have another insane person like Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zack, talking about this stuff, and it's amusing too. Let me go back. Let me see what Richard said about Heel versus that face. Point and laugh. I agree with him on that one. Bad news. It's Agatha All Along, episode 3, good. Oh, okay. Agatha All Along, episode 3 review. Middle-aged women drink wine. The end. But if it's not any good, you want to be able to have like a general audience for these different things. The thing about Agatha Harkness is she doesn't have an audience. She's not a character of any value. She doesn't have any value as a character. So why Marvel did this thing, they just wanted to tell her story. There was an open book for her. They made her younger. And they put another ugly feminist in there. They put her in there and they had her run around naked, and the end. Pretty much. But, the thing about Richard is if he wants to do these kind of videos where he's just talking about liking certain things, then I'm sure the people that like it, I don't know who, But the thing is that, you want to be successful on the platform, you kind of have to give the audience what they want, Now your host has a big baseball channel, but it could be bigger, but I'm very opinionated about the things I talk about. I'll pull any punches, just like I do now. And, you want to be able to serve the audience, and I've gotten better at it, but you also want to be able to have your own personality to it. But the thing is Richard is fighting with everybody. And you can't be fighting with everybody when you're living in a glass house. That's the problem with Richard attacking all these other channels and not getting the book. He's got 2 Jawbreakers books late. 2 years and 5 months, folks. 2 years and 5 months. And again, this is all craziness. You have Geeks and Gamers said nothing about books being on time. You had, or Geeks and Karens, as I call it. Heel versus Why That Face, Eric July, neurotic, all these different, like, untalented people all of a sudden complaining. And I would mention, Flash, in all due respect, was for him. I wouldn't have the baseball hut. But all of a sudden, they're all so brave, to take on Richard C. Meyer's books being late and Ethan Van Sciver's books being late. You know what it tells me? That they're so scared of Eric July. It's probably more than just Eric July is like their window to make money. Probably has some dirt on them. He probably does. He probably has major dirt on some of these YouTubers that they don't want getting out. Does Heel versus That Face, does he have a comic coming out? I doubt it. The one thing about Eric July, he's in the realm of politics, okay? And the realm of politics isn't just about, talking about this or that. It's also what kind of leverage you can have over people. So you say, well, I saw you do this and that, and can you help me out? Promote my book? Complain about Ethan Van Sciver being late? Go after Richard C. Meyer being late? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I'll also mention all these clowns, all these fools were telling everybody that there was nothing to see with Jeff Hicks. Jeff Hicks' book was late. Then the son of a bitch put it in, had it printed out like a catalog to where all the backers' names were printed on it like it was a catalog. They said nothing. Okay? And Jeff Hicks was in their circle. And they got rid of him. They got rid of Doomcock. Who's probably a lot more entertaining. He's a lot more entertaining than these guys are. Hell, certainly. Certainly much more amusing, than they are. And they threw him to the side. And probably because of why? Probably because of Eric July. No one ever asked that question. That's probably why Doomcock got thrown out of their club. It's probably because of Eric July. Because he probably doesn't have anything over Doomcock. And he doesn't have any use for him. But these people are different. He probably has dirt on every single one of them. That's why they don't like say to Eric, well, maybe your book's not any good. Just saying. Now, why did I start with this? This video started out talking about Richard C. Meyer. Now, I bring up, here's the thing. Richard has good points in it, but you can't be, again, living in a glass house. But it might be better than living in the dumpster, which he might end up, living in. And of course, this is another episode and another homeless report starring Richard C. Meyer.